Hey Tianqi, did you hear that Li Hua is going to get married?
Yes, I'm thinking about what to give him as a present.
I'm going to give them a ceramic tea set for the new couple.
Wow, so beautiful!
Professor Chiu, how do you think about this tea set?
This is a great red glaze porcelain tea set. Red glaze is the most gorgeous and famous glaze in ancient Chinese ceramics. Since ancient times, it has been valued for its deep and bright colors.
Yes, and red is one of humans' favorite colors because it symbolizes the sun, life, harvest, good luck, and everything beautiful. It is noble, gorgeous, warm, with rich cultural connotation and lofty spiritual meaning. Through the ages, people have poured infinite love for it.
I love red too.
I hear that to produce this kind of porcelain is very difficult because the red glaze is not high temperature resistant. Maybe that's why it's so rare. I'm going to give them some red presents too.
Hello everyone. Hello Lingru. Hello Tianqi. Today we'll continue to talk about fine china ware became the symbol of China.
How much does yuan blue and white porcelain have retained overseas?
Since Yuan Qinghua was heavily targeted at export, there are many examples of such export ware still preserved in other countries today. In preliminary count, there are more than 300 specimens of Yuan Qinghua in existence today, preserved both in China and in overseas countries. The overseas pieces add up to about 110, many housed in Turkey, Iran, and so forth. Chinese domestic collections are around 200 pieces, mostly archaeological findings around China after 1949. These domestic pieces are mostly parts of the collections at Beijing Palace Museum, Beijing Capital Museum, Shanghai Museum, and others. In the Ardabila Shrine of Iran, great collection of Chinese porcelain can be found. Aside from Longquan cylinder of the Southern Song and Yuan dynasties, white porcelain of southern China, imperial porcelain of the Privy Council, and blue glazed porcelain of the Yuan dynasty. There is another 37 valuable pieces of Qinghua from the Yuan dynasty. In the northwestern part of Iran, among collections of the Azerbaijan Museum in Tabriz are also Qinghua porcelain and underglazed red porcelain, among which are large Qinghua dishes, Meiping vases, and bowls of the late Ming dynasty. All are fine specimens of extraordinary splendor. In Istanbul, Turkey, and internationally, renowned museum is well known to house large collections of Chinese porcelain. Furthermore, more Qinghua porcelain vases or fragments were found in places such as Fustat in Egypt, along the Red Sea in Sudan, on the island of Bahrain in the Persian Gulf, and East African countries such as Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, and so on. In recent years, more Yuan dynasty Qinghua was discovered in Japan, Thailand, and the Philippines. Especially in the Philippines, large jars and bowls were discovered, such as Qinghua jars with quadruple handles sporting the double dragon motif. These Qinghua porcelains contain designs of flowers and birds and wild animals, flowers and herbage, floral scrolls and geometric designs, and so on.
How do these differ from the patterns of the early blue and white seen in Japan?
One of which was a small jar with double handles with chrysanthemum image. Its form and decorative images was exactly the same as porcelain uncarved from Yahutian kings in Jingdezhen, which belonged to the products of late Yuan dynasty. Later, when the imperial ambassador eunuch Zheng He sailed 7 times on long journeys west, not only were maritime trade routes established between China and other countries, he also brought great quantities of magnificent Qinghua porcelain to these faraway lands. Even though the production of Qinghua porcelain in Yuan dynasty was already a success due to limited historical records, evidences that could give affirmative dating were lacking. Thus, there was a few hundred years of uncertain history and understanding for the art of Qinghua porcelain, even as recent as half a century ago. The extent of Yuan dynasty Qinghua in China was still a topic of debate.
I'm very glad to be able to exchange such knowledge with Professor Chu today.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.